Conscious tracking builds the foundation that achieves results. And if, like myself, you did take a conscious track of your cash flow this entire week, you should be able to tell why I am just as excited as I am this morning. And very importantly, you should also be feeling just as excited as I am this morning. Now, I spent the entire of the night up until this morning basically compiling those small notes that I have into an actual cash flow book where I can be able to look at the data that I got from the entire week. And the data, analyzing that data is quite interesting, to be very honest with you. It's quite an interesting one for me. Now, I figured out that in the previous week, I had a net deficit on my cash flow. I had a week where my expenses were more than my income. And last weekend, we did say that for this week, the week that we've just concluded, that we are going to take a conscious track of our cash flow, except that this time around is going to be slightly different. Not just taking a cash flow, not just taking a conscious track, but taking track with an attempt to figure out those leaks, basically, those leakages that you can block out completely, if possible, or that you can downsize on, which I really did. And from the start of the week, my own approach for doing that was, I really do not have too many non-essentials in my cash flow. Why I had a basic essentials. So in order to be able to downsize on that, I got most of those things from the start of the week in bulk, in quantities that would take me through for the week. And simply by doing that, I was able to downsize by about 30%. And then within the week, I disciplined myself to let go of certain things that I could have maybe ordinarily wanted. And then by simply doing that, I was able to further take my expenses for the week. I was able to bring it down by about 50%. That is significant progress for me, honestly. By about 50%, without depriving myself of anything that is necessary, without depriving myself of any essential, I was able to downsize by about 50%. And that's great. Now, if like myself, you did take a conscious track of your cash flow, I'm very certain that you would be feeling the way I'm feeling right now. I'm quite certain about that. Now, going forward for this week, we still want to do the same thing. We want to take a conscious track of our cash flow, except that this time around it is still in an attempt to figure out where those leakages are, which I believe that you should have been able to do if you did take a conscious track of your cash flow this past week. If you have figured out where the leakages are and you figured out a way to basically get them blocked or downsized, basically, for this new week, I want us to do something. Create for yourself a dedicated account where for every time that you are able to downsize on a particular expenses, that extra cost that you would have incurred, send it to that dedicated account. Now, this account is not your usual account. It's not your regular account. It is a dedicated account specifically for this financial literacy thing that we are doing together. So for every time, let's say you would ordinarily buy a bag of water for 400, and then in a week you consume 3 bags or 4 bags or 5 bags, and then you decide to say, okay, from the start of the week, let me buy this pure water, this sachet water, instead of buying from the shop that is just in front of me. Why don't I buy from the truck that is supplying them, which is going to sell to me at a price that is less than the original price I would have gotten if I had gone to the shop? So that extra cost that you would have incurred if you had gone to the shop, just send it to that dedicated account. What we are trying to do by setting aside a dedicated account is not to all of a sudden build your way out of wealth, but it's to start creating in your mind the feeling of accumulating wealth. Basically, that is simply what we are trying to do. We are trying to create in our mind the feeling of accumulated wealth. And secondly, we want to create in our mind the feeling, knowing fully well that I don't have to live entirely from hand to mouth. I don't have to live entirely from income to expense, from income to expense. So what we are doing is slowly, gradually, we are beginning to build our dam that makes sure that it comes in this time around, income, savings, expense, or income, expense, savings, whichever way you choose to put it. it doesn't really matter. But we are trying to create that feeling of accumulated wealth. Specifically, that is what we are trying to create, and that is what it is for this week. So guys, I am Monaco Daniel, the mastermind trader from the world most populous Black nation, and here I talk financial literacy and trading psychology. Later today we'll be having the financial intensive live, where I'll be looking to explain some of the significance, some of the incentives, some of the benefits that you get from actually saving. If you have, like myself, you did this for the past week, I would really love to know what the experience is for you. Drop a comment below. See you in the next video.